just wanted to touch really briefly on our schools and our children, because our children are the future. Even our education system is not immune from government ineptitude and Islamic violence. Did you know that Syrian migrant men in their 20s, some with full beards, were dumped into classrooms at Fredericton High School in New Brunswick, next to Canadian school kids as young as 14? Notes from teachers talk about their concerns of the behavior from the refugee students. Now there is sexual harassment happening, bullying, picking on the Jewish kids and any kids who aren't Muslim, threatening and swearing at teachers, talking about terrorist weapons like rocket-propelled grenades, demanding that men and women be separated Sharia style, refusing to speak English. Did you know that there right now are teachers and assistants in the province of Ontario who have been issued Kevlar-like vests and jackets and shin pads to school in this country now in order to deal with the special needs kids? I don't know about you, but when I went to school, there was no need for that kind of protection from the special needs kids. So we all know who they're talking about, but everyone's afraid to mention.
Not me. Me neither.
When they came to Canada, they had fake ID or no ID. And when the government was questioned as to why these children weren't having their actual age verified, they said it was because Canada saw ID and they aren't going to question someone's ID because it's obviously legitimate. And others who didn't have ID, the government saw no reason why they would lie. Excuse me, but what a stupid thing to say. Over 2,700 pages of incidents and notes were reported, but we don't hear about it because MSM, the mainstream media, is paid handsomely to be in the back pocket of this elitist government and will willfully ignore or just make up stories on order of their masters in Ottawa. They don't want us to know these things because then we would react, and they don't want that. It doesn't fit with their agenda. And others who didn't have ID, the government saw no reason why they would lie. Excuse me, but what a stupid thing to say. Over 2,700 pages of incidents and notes were reported, but we don't hear about it because MSM, the mainstream media, is paid handsomely to be in the back pocket of this elitist government and will willfully ignore or just make up stories on order of their masters in Ottawa. They don't want us to know these things because then we would react, and they don't want that. It doesn't fit with their agenda. Syrian refugee kids were beating on other kids at Lindsay Thurber High School in Red Deer, Alberta. Yet when the principal, Dan Lower, was informed, he laughed and called the people liars. Video footage proves the truth. Now there's a big cover-up going on. What the MSM is conveniently leaving out of that story is that there is a video with an interview of a Muslim girl at the school who said that the Syrian kids were getting off too easy on things and that they needed to learn to integrate better. You didn't hear that in any of the MSN stories on that, did you? The little girl in Halifax who was being assaulted by Syrian refugee boys, media changed its story repeatedly and then just eventually ignored it altogether. The Peel School District needs no introduction. Parents of all faiths and colors are speaking out there. People are banding together to make sure everyone has equal rights, not just a select few. It's as if that was ground zero for infiltration of our education system, and feeling emboldened, Islam is now spreading throughout all the provinces. You don't think you see it here yet? You will. They are killing our children. They specifically targeted children at a concert they knew there would be many attending. They openly rejoiced online, and yet, was that taken down? Where was the outrage? The moderates that say they stand with us, and they're out with signs saying Islam is peace? If they truly wanted to make a difference, they would openly and publicly denounce Sharia law, and they would stand with us in trying to stop it. They would excommunicate radicals, just does other faiths do when the people go against their principles and values? They can't go against Islam, though, because the Quran commands otherwise. And if they don't obey, they'll be killed. There are at least 110 verses that talk about violence against the infidel. Deception is allowed. Taqiya, Sharia, Kitma, Maruna, whatever it is they practice it well.
Yes, they do.
Do not be fooled. They had the nerve to come out a day after the slaughter of children and claim that they are just as much victims as the actual victims, that they now fear reprisals and that they need help too. Well, I'm not sure how their suffering is comparable to people having to pull chunks of flesh out of their hair, as some of that being from children.
Yes.
Our children. They may not be my children directly or your children directly. They are all our children.
Yes.
Government.
Yes.
Nothing is being done about it because everyone is so afraid to offend. Well, you know what? They're allowing this to happen to their children. Many parents have spoken up, but not enough. We need more. Also of interest is the indoctrination going on in our universities. As the mother of a university student, let me tell you, this is happening. And it is so insidious that it's happened, and your child is changed before you even know it's happened.
Yes, yes.
I guarantee you.
Yes.
These situations must be dealt with, and it starts with the removal of TRUDEAU, his elitist government, and all it stands for. They have made a deal with the devil, and it is our souls on the line. I'd like to just really cover women's rights, or what we can say lack of in Islam. The Quran demands that daughters get half the inheritance of sons. It states that a woman's testimony in court is worth half that of a man's. Under Sharia law, compensation for the murder of a woman is half the going rate for men. For a woman to prove rape, 4 adult males of impeccable character must witness the penetration in accordance with Sharia. Can someone tell me what the impeccable character means? What are the requirements? Who gets to decide?
Yes.
What Islam is doing is basically making it impossible for women to have any kind of defense at all. Women's rights are eroded even more by verse 434 that states that men have preeminence over women and that they are overseers of women. Wife beating happens so much in Islam that social workers who help battered women are having a hard time convincing them that it's not okay. But the women are brainwashed and indoctrinated from birth that this kind of treatment is normal. It's not, and it should never damage. An influential website, Islam Online, justified child marriage by quoting not just Muhammad's example, but the Quran as well. For those who want to check, it's the Quran 65:4. There's nothing that can be done as our government is allowing this to happen. Coming soon to here, and all because we're afraid. I guess only when the issues are safe and won't upset their own personal status quo do our feminists speak up. Well, you know what? That's fake feminism. You don't get to pick and choose which issues you deal with. You deal with them all. And if you want to talk inequality, Islam is the biggest perpetrator of inequality going. So fight for the women instead of hiding your heads in the sand and marching with Taqiya committing deceivers.
Yeah.
One more minute and I'm done. I'd like to just finish by giving you some statistics on demographics from the UNHCR. 13% women, 12% children, and 75% men between 19 and 45. But it's not take over the West, right? Islam says it wants to scare the West. They publicly and openly state this. Do not be afraid, because if you are, they will win. Be strong, even if you don't feel like it, and start to fight back. Do not allow this great country of Canada to fall. The cardboard cutout and its merry band of traitors must be removed if we are to stand any chance of everyone being able to live in peace, free to live their own way without being forced to convert or accept a completely evil and misguided doctrine, while all the while going bankrupt because he can't control himself in his quest to be the white knight to the world, all for a seat at the table, selling us out and we're letting it happen. It must stop. Thank you to all of who believe in us and what we're trying to do. For those who don't, I only hope you will do the research and find out for yourself what Islam is really all about before you can't speak out one day. But you know what? We at Cultural Action Party will continue to fight for your children, our people, even if you won't. Thank you again.
Great speech. Thank you very much. I mean, is that an eye-opener or what? And what does Justin Trudeau have to say about all this?
Nothing.
Nothing.